Howdy, howdy, everyone. Here we are grilling Window for what's probably the last time.
We actually went and rewatched the cutscene that plays the beginning of the chapter when there were all these voices
That we
talking
didn't know who they were.
to each other. Well, just seemed like the right thing to do that. And anyway, it didn't really say anything one way or the other.
But it certainly was interesting to consider.
Well, it was like maybe he did it, which could implicate something else or another personality. So, in other words, it's exactly the same as where we are.
Didn't really change anything.
Right. We're the Bittersweet Gamers, people who don't change.
We squared.
I'm the opinionator? That's not really true, though.
But you are the opinionator.
I think we start a lot of episodes like this. We begin this episode the way we begin so many other episodes.
Oi, that's my joke!
Making lame gags that we've done before and denying our own identities.
That's being really meta about the joke. I've never met any personality named Owen.
Any personality named Owen. Or maybe...
Met, huh? Is that how you experience each other? Like people meeting on the street? Well, it's more like all three of us are always here. And the personality that's most suited to the moment is the one that comes out. So when you're out, Window, what are the other two doing? Well, we never know when our turn will come, right?
You know, it's kind of like they're piloting a robot.
Change Window 1! So we stand by and listen.
I mean, compared to every other dissociative identity disorder, this is cooperative and friendly.
But that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I say they're like robot pilots piloting a giant window.
So that means all three of you share the same memories?
Oh, that's a good one. But they're always aware, like they say.
Yeah, I never really thought about it, but I guess that's right.
This is just too convenient.
Well, it means she doesn't have to ask the same question to the other personalities.
Oh, you're right. That wasn't what I meant, but you're absolutely right about that.
I see. Thank you. Please continue.
But this is convenient. Way, way, way too convenient. I mean, he's not crazy. Is he some sort of mutant?
I mean,
it's like his mind is evolving to the next stage of humanity because he can keep several different consciousnesses present and they can all act differently. It's like he has 3 brains instead of 1, but they all share memories.
That is really weird.
That's what I'm saying. He's some sort of weird mutant, and what does he do with it? Goes into comedy, and he's not even that great at it.
Well, now hold on. He's actually pretty good. Remember, he flubbed it on purpose.
He's good because he gets to do 3 people on a one-man comedy act. He doesn't have.
He's cheating.
And on top of that, each of the different personalities probably has their own talents. Plus, he has his talents, so it's like he gets 3 people worth of training and personality.
I call hacks.
And that's what I'm doing. I am, in fact, calling hacks. And this is as far as he's gotten with it. With all of these natural mutant powers.
Well, he is really young.
Well, compared to us.
Well, no, I mean, like, compared to, say, his competitor, for instance.
You mean his fellow student? Anyway, enough talking about Mutant Window. Please continue.
Patches was just blurting out nonsense in a panic. Patches, can I have a word with you, please? Why, hello! You rang? You said, at first, that you didn't know anybody named Owen.
He also said he wanted to invoke his right to remain silent, but here he is talking.
Shh. And then, just like Daymon said, you exercised your right to remain silent.
I hadn't read that line, actually.
Were you afraid of committing perjury? Well, you see... I'll take over from here if you don't mind. We do, actually. We're talking to Patches. Listen, I hate to say it, but Patches is about as smart as a sack of rocks. If you grill him with a bunch of highfalutin words, he's going to want to keep silent.
Highfalutin. I don't believe I've ever seen the word highfalutin written down.
I always spelled it like F-A-L-O-O-T. That looked like more highfalutin or something. I see. So looking after loose-tongued Patches is your role, is it, Miss Kisagawa?
You know, it's like the word nonchalant, but nobody's ever chalant, right? So, if you're highfalutin, is there anybody who's low-faluting? I mean, how does one falute?
1 second, we're going to go look this up. I'm just
It's like
kidding.
butlers, you know? Like...
How does one buttle?
Yeah, a gardener gardens, a singer sings, a butler buttles. But what's buttling? I want to know what a flute is.
Well, you know, certain people are really good at playing the flute. Don't look at me like that. You knew this was coming.
I did earn it. I asked for it.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, I do know that Patches was just flustered, and that's why he decided to remain silent. We're always aware, so we definitely noticed if a personality like that showed up. But what if, for some reason, you three were unconscious at the time of the incident? If the three of you weren't alert and aware, what would happen? You know, like a regular person with split personalities.
Like, what happens if somebody, like, when they sleep? For instance, do two of them sleep while one of them stays awake? And then they just sleep in shifts? If that were necessary, like, if you needed to do that, does he need to eat more frequently to get more blood to his brain?
If the three of you weren't alert and aware, what would happen? I think I already read this line. What would happen? I'm not even sure what you mean.
Like, what other crazy powers do they have?
I mean, you three share the same memories, right? But what if Owen is different? What if he has memories separate from yours? Maybe Owen emerges when the three of you are unaware or unconscious. Perceptive.
So it's real, huh?
Well, you know, normal split personality stuff works like that. Look at Toko and Danganronpa.
Instead of speaking as if this fourth personality is a foregone conclusion, I suggest you prove his existence first. Never mind the fact that the witness, upon seeing a reference to this, tampered with the crime scene beyond what he had previously done. Which seems to prove the existence of something. But I shouldn't be making my opponent's point, so you suck.
Well, we've already seen 3 personalities. A 4th wouldn't be a stretch.
Next, we can find out he can fly and shoot I-beams.
Well, any more of a stretch than it already is.
You dishonor the victim and this court by jumping to such conclusions without proof.
Why, yes, Mr. Kettle. I, the pot, am black. Have you ever heard these old sayings, Prosecutor Sadmati? What happens twice will happen thrice. If you see one, there are likely 30 in your home.
I have never heard of an old saying, if you see one, there are likely 30 in your home.
Talking about cockroaches,
or mice?
I'm basing my theory on such premises. Comparing us to cockroaches. Ooh, Billy was right. Do we bug you that much, girlie?
Couldn't resist. Professional pride. But how do you intend to prove it? How will you prove that all 3 personalities became unconscious, as you say? Reaction, blah, blah, reaction. But you can't prove anything. Reaction, reaction. There was the reaction that he had. Unless you can do that, all of this talk is merely empty speculation.
You're empty speculation. I mean, well,
Don't be so timid. If you don't have it, then find it. Look for something that could render Wendo and the others unconscious.
They were suffocated by a balloon. Simon's right, not Billy. I can't back down now.
It was Jugemu the dog.
For my client, Mr. Wet, I have to. Wait, Mr. Wet? Let me rest? Ha! Maybe if I were a lump of regular flour dough for udon noodles. But I'm fresh like my shoba, and you don't let shoba dough rest. It's all about the 3 freshes. Grind the buckwheat seeds fresh, cut the dough fresh, and... See, he referenced udon noodles. That's not my fault.
Yeah, he referenced them to be like those lowly, miserable udon noodles. He's blacked out.
Wait, whoa,
that
no
seems
way!
to be what they're getting at.
Well, the second trial had to do with it had one set of twins, and then that similar thing came up later with Raytons.
And for that matter, the next trial, it had Belieb, who used another personality, sort of. I mean, the point that we're getting at here, right?
Yeah.
And it even had to rust in me in Maya's body.
Yeah!
What's up with this weird theme?
First trial didn't really have anything like that.
That's correct.
Did it? Okay, well that's also the first one, so that's fine if it doesn't necessarily match the game.
Yeah, the first one can be really separate.
Okay, I think we're approaching this with the right mindset. Mr. Wet, falling unconscious? Wait a minute, I think I've got it.
That is so freaking weird.
Miss Sykes, do you have proof to back up your theory?
Really?
Well, I mean, no. I just don't see that there is any proof. Well, let's just see what happens.
I mean, not really. I'm afraid not, Your Honor.
Of course you do, you moron! Have another good look at the crime scene photo.
Okay. Something that could have made the three of them lose consciousness. Was there anything like that in the dressing room?
Alcohol. That's what they really meant with Bucky, anyway.
How dare you treat me like a criminal based on mere conjecture? Since nobody involved with this case is named Owen, we have to explore the possibility that he's a hidden fourth personality of yours. After all, the cards read Owen the Fourth. But how can you be so sure that that's what the cards really mean?
Your reaction!
What else could they possibly mean? Well, for example, Owen, the fourth hitter.
Then why did you rearrange the cards?
Who in the world is that? He's a baseball player, a really great one too. Owen Gonzalez, 36 years old, he's a cleanup, fourth place hitter of course. He's the one who did it. If such a famous baseball player was there, hanging around in the theater, he would have drawn a lot of attention to himself, don't you think? Well then, how about this? Maybe it means O in fourth, like I-O-N 4,000.
Hey, didn't I do this?
I think you did, yeah. And who is this mysterious N person?
What do you mean you think I did? Of course I did!
What? N isn't a person. It was Shisho's favorite hobby shop, Enjoy. He was a huge model train collector. You can see it all around the dressing room. I see.
That's why he rearranged it.
Maybe he owed the hobby shop some money. 4,000? So he left a note to remind himself. Hold on! Encarta cards on the table?
And it made you so surprised you rearranged them.
Shisho worked in mysterious ways. Are you buying this nonsense? Are you even taking this seriously? I'm being completely serious. As serious as my character can get. The point is, Owen Fourth could mean just about anything. I suppose you're right. I guess I'd better approach this from a different angle. I should have figured out he's not going to just give in like that. There's gotta be some sort of key to unlocking Wendo's fourth personality.
And there is! Booze! Personally, I can't wait to see who will slip up first. My bet's on the clown. But it better not be you.
Well, it won't. Do you believe me? And if I can't find any inconsistencies, there's always one thing to do, and that's press! Yes, I do! It's that giant bottle of Camel brand booze.
Yep.
Yes, Your Honor, I do. The proof is right here in this crime photo.
It is?
Though I still like the idea of Bucky also having a multiple personality.
In that case, please point out what supports your theory.
But that's because I want to send him to jail.
This, most likely, is what caused Wendo to lose consciousness. There are, after all, two glasses.
Yep.
This is probably what made Wendo lose consciousness.
Ah, yes. The sake.
Very American.
And isn't it just like Master Tornado to pick a fine brand like Camel?
I prefer Marlboro sake myself. Sake? Oh, you mean rice wine?
Ugh!
Oh, please, don't call it rice wine. That's so unsophisticated. And it's not even wine. Silly girl.
I must agree. You need to become more cultured, Athena.
Tomato, tomato. It's made of rice and people get drunk from drinking it, right?
Are you calling beer bread wine? Vodka is potato wine.
Yes.
It's called sake. Everyone calls it that. Even fellow Americans, like me, and the Typhoon tornadoes call it sake.
End of story.
Fine, sake it is then. Ay caramba, everybody's so touchy about these things.
It's pronounced Athene,
All
not
right,
Athena.
Blackquill.
Don't you know anything about the original Greek? I recall Master Tornado would often have a drink or two before performing. He said it made him more eloquent. Drinking too much of the stuff can make one lose consciousness, though, of course. But even modern studies have found that alcohol actually improves your memory in small amounts.
Really? And look, there were 2 glasses on the table. Wendo, I believe your master offered you some rice, sake. And then, you must have drank too much and passed out. That's when your 4th personality, Owen, emerged.
All I have to say is, when did she light the fan?
I drank sake? Oh, that's a good one. Certainly not the personality modeled after a courtesan.
Cortisone. Cortisone, yes, it's cortisone. Cortesian.
We have a real sweet tooth, you see, so yes, we did accept a sugary red bean bun, Camel brand, but since we really disliked sake, we said no thank you to that. Believe it or not, we're real weak when it comes to booze. Even a tiny drop can knock us right out.
Huh.
So you see, I had a sweet manju bun, but I didn't drink any sake.
There is this guy who's completely hammered, though.
What? But that can't be right. The defense demands that the glasses be examined right away.
You amateur! Did you really think I had not already done so, even though I often ignore blatant facts in the crime scenes?
Yeah, basically.
Your foolishness is beyond the pale!
Don't tell me.
There was no trace of the witness having touched either of the glasses, naturally.
But there's one that's on its side with booze still in it! Right, of course.
But it wasn't him!
Miss Sykes, would you like the witness's statement added to his testimony? Here's your big break!
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Very well.
I had a sweet manju bun, but I didn't drink any sake. So if you had even a tiny sip of sake, you'd conk right out, huh?
Man, you lightweight!
That's why you didn't touch the glass that Master Tornado offered, correct? Yes, that's right. Then maybe you ate something that had sake in it as an ingredient.
What?
The Camel brand manju bun. I don't recall doing anything like that, though if I had, I guess I wouldn't remember, would I?
Well, I mean, I guess it is the same brand.
Well, look, I'll show you.
No, I understand that. I'm saying that sounds weird, but it's the same brand. I guess somebody who doesn't know anything about food or drink would be able to go to that conclusion pretty easily.
He doesn't recall doing it. But that doesn't necessarily mean he didn't. He just might not have known that he did.
Yeah, that has to be it. That's just...
I'd better take another good look at the evidence.
So he didn't drink any sake, huh?
Oh boy, now we're in trouble.
That kind of answer is exactly why Sad Monk keeps insulting you. It's why I insulted you too. Now use your head.
You would both insult me no matter how professional and on top of things I was. You admit it.
Well, it's true, yes. There are countless ways Wendo could have gotten sake into his mouth besides drinking it.
Well, I don't know about the countless part, but...
But nothing. Give it some thought and you'll figure something out.
So the witness must have had something that contained sake.
I've never heard of sake buns, but well, whatever.
Is there anything in the court record that hints at something like that?
different types of cakes. Like, I've had cakes that are made with various liquors, and you would really have to down a lot of that cake for it to even count as a single drop.
Uh-huh.
It's like it mainly is just there for the essence, kind of like the smell permeating the whole thing, and it works when I've had it. Like, sake in a sweet bun? That's just so weird. I mean, it has to be what it is, because the brand is so prominent.
I'm looking at this to see if maybe its close proximity to the sake might have had something to do with it, because it got spilled here, see? So what if some sake got onto it? Oh! That's what happened. The box of manju buns is right down there beneath the spilled glass.
Okay.
That's how it happened.
I'm surprised you hadn't presented it already, though.
I had a sweet manju bun, but I didn't drink any sake. Well, as it turns out.
Nope. We still haven't quite figured out what's going on, but I did want to point out, Billy.
Yeah?
If you knew that one drop of booze would conk you out, and you just spilled an entire cup of sake onto one bun, would you then pull out that bun, take it out of the package, pour the stuff on the package onto the bun, and then eat the bun?
I mean, no, but that does seem to be what's heavily indicated here, no?
I'd be more inclined to believe that it was some spiked bun like you originally said.
Well, if that was the case, this would still be the way to prove it.
Hey, the only other thing that it could be, I guess, is the note. What we were trying to do is say, yeah, you didn't drink any sake.
But you may have ate some. This would be the only other thing.
That would also say the same thing, where I guess it could. But, I mean, it's not the invitation or something.
Right? Okay,
yeah.
Explain how this makes sense.
The other one would have worked just fine, too. Like it should have, anyway.
This shows what, most likely, made Window lose consciousness.
I still don't see why we couldn't point at it in the other one, but whatever. That note? Are you feeling lightheaded, child? Or perhaps a bit peckish?
I'm not hungry, and my head feels just fine, thank you very much. Keep your fake concern. Look at the paper this note is written on. Isn't there something familiar about it?
I mean, why couldn't we have just pointed at this with the picture? What exactly is your point, Defense?
This faint design here reminds me of the paper from...
Yep,
it's like
a
that
piece
one...
of the wrapping paper on the box of manju buns by the victim on the floor.
It's like that one time there were 3 options, and I said because of reasoning X, it's option Y, and it was like, bam, wrong, penalty. So then we picked another option, and it was the same reasoning. It just made me so frustrated because it was like, you just made the argument I made, but said it came from something else. But
sometimes that happens.
That's the way this game works.
Yeah.
Complain, we're done.
Window, you may not have drunk any sake, but you did eat a sweet red bun, right?
A sweet red bun bean?
Yes, yes, right.
Red bean bone bun boo bam?
Please don't start that.
I don't know if you're aware of it or not, Window, but I believe the manju you ate caused you to fall unconscious.
The bean bun? But how?
See, even these very American Japanese people don't understand what an American sake manju Japanese American.
What?
That's what I think too.
Because those buns contained a secret ingredient. A very punchy secret ingredient at that.
A punchy secret ingredient?
My point is they thought it's weird too.
Yes. The design on the wrapping paper matches that of something else in the room.
It does?
The design on this object matches that of the manju box's wrapping paper. It's the fan insignia on his back.
No, please go over there. Thank you. The camel pattern. It's the same as the one for Camel brand sake. Who sells sake baked manju buns? Camel, apparently.
So, just as Windows said, he didn't drink any sake per se.
But he did eat some.
possible?
Yeah, we agree.
How could somebody do something so stupid?
Wendo had a Camel brand red bean bun, which boasts a nice shot of sake as one of its ingredients.
So the defense is claiming that Wendo passed out after consuming a camel sweet bun, which allowed a fourth personality named Owen to emerge. Am I getting this correctly? Because this is pretty ridiculous.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yes, Your Honor. That's exactly what I'm claiming. Pew!
But there's one thing that bothers me. Actually, there's a lot of things, but I'm only focusing on this one right now. Wouldn't the alcoholic content of the buns evaporate as they are steamed?
That's what I was saying. There wouldn't... Well, I guess it was added... In order to give them a stronger flavor, some manju are specially made to retain as much of their alcoholic content as possible.
What kind of lightweight do you think I am?
You just said you're a ridiculous lightweight.
Mm-hmm. Even I wouldn't pass out from eating a simple manju. And how about we test that theory? What do you say, Your Honor?
Feed them manju and make Owen come out?
Seeing is believing, as they say. Very well, I will allow a test.
Okay.
Bailiff, hold his mouth open.
Thanks, Your Honor. Simon, go buy us some camel manju on the double.
I am not your assistant.
I'm too young to buy it.
That's true, she's not 20.
And don't forget to get me one too, okay?
Why must I?
And while you're at it, Prosecutor Blackquill, you will get one for me as well.
I'm not the courthouse stable boy, you know. Yes! But just this once, I'll acquiesce. Taka! Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
I'm counting on you.
I love his bandana.
Well, where do you think he got the feather?
No. I know that, but is he sending the bird out to buy food?
Yeah.
How?
Taco, get it?
How?
And all of you had better pay me back.
How?
Maybe he'll carry his card.
Aw, but I thought it would be your treat, Prosecutor Blackquill. What a shame.
You can't do that!
Now then, let us adjourn until the manju arrive by Carrier Hawk. This case is really weird.
This court is really weird, too. Just saying.
Court will reconvene as soon as Taka returns.
What in God's name is going on?
Now that the sweet buns have arrived, this court is back in session. Why is he on my head?
Oh, that's what he does.
Go on, Wendo. Eat up. See, one's already got a bite taken out of it for you. I'm not really hungry.
Oh, nice flavor. You can really taste the sake. That was delicious.
Oh, come on! You're all a bunch of lightweights! Yes, a unique sweetness and the faint aroma of sake. As far as I know, liquor in Kurain is limited to fermented yak milk.
So I'm not going to tell anyone I had one.
Hey, if that's your thing. Yet I hardly think that anyone could pass out from eating something like this. Like Daymon said, you'd have to eat 3 cakes. And if you eat 3 whole black Russian cakes, you'll have other problems. What's the matter, Wendo? You're not afraid of a tiny little manju, are you?
Or are you scared of how many calories it has?
Which is mainly the problem if you consume 3 black Russian cakes.
Don't be ridiculous. A sweet little snack like this couldn't possibly... I mean, it could never...
Eat the bun, boy! Less bleating, more eating, witness!
Blackquill is my spirit animal. He makes the jokes, and he's just no nonsense with any of this. I love him.
Why haven't you played Dual Destinies? Where he is the prosecutor in every case.
Fine, whatever.
Thump.
Yeah. See? I told you. It don't affect me in the slide. Oh, God.
How on earth?
We might be allied, Wade. But come on. Nobody's that light. The fans are falling down. Seriously, nobody gets drunk off one little bun. Here it comes.
And there he went. So is Owen gonna... Uh-oh. This is so weird! Devil face!
Wow.
Huh!
It looks like it worked.
Oh my! Witness, please tell the court your name and occupation.
Oh.
Maybe he saw the killer. Or, I mean, is the killer, who knows?
You know, something like that actually came up in a crime drama I watched at one point.
I'm not surprised.
I think it was Lie to Me, the one where it's about the guy who can read people's body language and tell when they're lying. A witness had multiple personalities, but they weren't connected like that.
Sure.
But it was the
Nobody's are.
It was the violent one that protects her that saw what it was, and so he had to threaten her to get it to come out. It was really uncomfortable and awkward.
Huh.
Like there was a lot of emotion behind that.
And it is true that we still haven't gotten back to Geriu. We don't really know what she's doing in this case, but, you know, narrative logic based on structure of Ace Attorney games, etc., etc.
Hmm?
And so the cards, the dying message was...
Maybe not who killed him.
Yeah, Wendo saw it and thought that's what happened, but the dying message was actually ask Owen.
There we go. Hmm? Oh, my name is Owen. I'm 5. You're 5 years old? Am I in trouble? Please don't yell at me. Ooh. He is adorable.
This is quite amusing.
So he's Wendo's 4th personality.
Yep, you take a look at him, he's clearly the killer.
Oh yes, most certainly. Guilty.
I'd hardly think a child like him could have a motive or the ability to murder the victim.
I would agree with you, Nahira.
Can we just convict Bucky already? We should also convict the real killer, but I just want to make sure to get Bucky too.
Being an a-hole is not against the law.
But it's not that he's an a-hole. I just don't like him.
Well, that's not against the law either.
Me not liking you is against the law in Japanica. And even if he had a motive, could he have actually committed the murder?
Stop saying things we agree with. That's a very good point. Owen does appear to be very timid and weak.
Oh, no.
It seems the defense was hoping this hidden personality would have a devil face. Isn't that what Billy called out? I mean, Daymon, I always get those two mixed up.
Screw you.
But now that he is standing here before us...
Now hold on just a damn minute. This right here proves the message was intended to point to him. Bucky doesn't know about him. Only other members of the Typhoon Tornado family know about the multiple personality thing. This still exonerates him.
You know, hurricane also comes from a Japanese word, hariken.
Oh, good to know.
And also, as far as English words that come from Japanese, typhoon.
Yeah.
You know, hurricane, head honcho. Like,
oh,
honcho.
Oh, nice.
That was your Japanese lesson for the day.
Just saying. It is clear that none of Wendo's personalities could possibly be the killer.
Ah! Where can I even go from here? I better just ask him.
Off the stand, and to send Bucky to jail. That's where you can go.
David,
Shisho.
Did you know any Rakugo too, Owen?
Oh, that'd be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? Owen, do you know something about what happened to your master? Come on, buddy. Won't you tell Auntie Athena what happened? I'm a nice lady. What a scary lady!
She's so yellow! Like the sun.
I'm not scary. Look at Auntie's big smile.
And if you stare at the sun for too long, your eyes burn out.
Hey, tell me about your master, please. Pretty please, with sugar on top? Okay. Shisho was super nice. He always played with me. Just like a real grandpa. I love Shisho.
Athena, do you sense anything behind his words?
I sense his sadness. Sadness so pure it's heartrending. But no discord. Prosecutor Sadmati is right. Owen isn't the killer.
But then, don't you find it odd?
Simon, I find many things with this case odd. Find what odd?
Let's review what we've learned so far. Wendo rearranged the Karuta cards to pin the blame on Bucky.
Well, that's because the original message implicated Owen. Or at least he thought he did. But Owen is only 5 years old and absolutely adores Master Tornado.
Exactly. The other three personalities also have no motive for murder. If Owen isn't the true culprit, then the person who first laid out the cards
probably wouldn't have been Master Tornado. So then, who did it?
Defense? Did the appearance of Owen help you figure anything out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I mean, he exists. The cards were put out.
I now know who it was that first laid out the Karuta cards.
But I thought it was the victim, right? Anyone? Guys?
No, Your Honor. I don't believe it was. The one who first arranged the Karuta cards on the table was none other than the true killer. I believe the person who laid the cards out is the very person who killed Taifu Tornado.
So it would have been the first person who went there. I mean, it had to have been Geriu, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to figure out when it could have been. I guess when Bucky got there first, it still already happened.
Well, remember, when Bucky showed up, he was angry because the old guy was ignoring him.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Is that he had to have already been dead then, so it would have had to have been even earlier.
Yeah.
That it happened. How quickly you move on to a new target when your Owen theory proves false. New target? More like the first person BSG pegged. You Polkunan!
I don't know what a Polkunan is, but I know I am definitely not one. And before you start with the sermons, why don't you hear me out?
Yes, let's hear the defense's reasoning. Please proceed, Miss Sykes. But if you are bluffing, I won't go easy on you.
I understand, Your Honor. Now then, please recall the original crime scene. Who did the Karuta cards name when the scene was discovered?
Let's see. I believe they implicated the defendant, Bucky Wet.
That's right. But when we found out that the message originally read Owen 4th...
which implicated the young boy, Owen.
How did she know about Owen?
Well, didn't he say that everyone in the troupe knows about his personalities? And Owen even said that Grandpa played with him. He specifically said only the members of the Tornado troupe knew that he had split personalities. Exactly. And the person who rearranged the cards was undoubtedly Wendo.
Wendo may have kept silent, but we can be sure he already knew his master was dead. His tampering with the crime scene using the TV all but proves it. I mean, he was trying to come up with an alibi for something that he was afraid he did.
Yeah, I confess. I tampered with the crime scene.
The reason Wendo rearranged the Carter cards and moved the TV was because he saw the Owen 4th message and was convinced Owen had committed the crime.
For some reason. Right on, Prosecutor Blackquill. High five. Alright, high five? No? Okay. It would seem that Owen and the other 3 personalities don't share the same memories. But really, there is no 4th personality. It's just the 3 of us in here. Wendo feared that Owen had killed Master Tornado, so he tried to hide Owen from us. Oh.
But it turns out Owen is but a 5-year-old child, incapable of hurting a fly. Though, if you're, say, 2 or 3, you will run around smashing everything and burning it to the ground. So he probably could hurt a fly, but I concede he's not capable of committing murder. Finish line.
So naturally, the culprit must be somebody else. And this somebody else, the true killer, tried to pin the crime on Owen.
I see. That does make sense.
This is naught but conjecture composed of half-truths, fantasy, and rants about narrative structure in previous Ace Attorney games. Who, then, do you maintain murdered the victim? The person related to the case that you've spoken with the least that isn't the defendant?
I believe Owen might know something about that.
I refuse to allow such impromptu testimony, and from a 5-year-old no less. Such a young child is incapable of producing anything coherent.
But...
Your desperation is disgraceful. You should realize when it's time to let it go from the...
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw Shisho getting... Owen! You do know something, don't you? Yeah.
Oh my, is this true? If so, we must have Owen testify immediately. Don't you agree, Prosecutor Sadmari?
This whole thing is just so weird.
It's all right, Owen. Go ahead and tell us what you know.
I saw it. Shisho was standing with a knife in his hand. Blood was dripping onto Shisho's face, getting it all red. I couldn't move at all. I was so scared, I passed out.
Well, that's not quite how it works.
This is eyewitness testimony from the moment of the murder.
Tell me more about the bloody knife.
Owen, can you tell us anything else about what you saw? I was so scared. So scared. Owen! His emotions are spiraling out of control. Something must have really frightened him.
Is he all right?
His emotions are running wild because he's trying to recall something frightening to him. I recommend a therapy session right away.
I see. Yes, please do whatever you can to help the poor boy.
Maybe this part is in the game solely to give Athena a place to shine. I mean, even including Simon Blackquill.
Yeah, will do, Your Honor. I'd better find the cause of these out-of-control emotions, pronto.
I mean, I know this is a strange place to bring it up, but it just seems odd. In the last case was so serious, at least once the scope expanded. And it seemed to be like, we have all this stuff to talk about in Kurain, and then this is like, there's no investigation, and it's like, what's it about? So...
Yeah. Shisho was standing with a knife in his hand.
So Athena is the only thing I can think of, anyway.
Blood was dripping onto Shisho's face, getting it all red.
Oh, yeah?
I couldn't move at all. I was so scared. I passed out.
There is something kind of odd.
Yeah, there is something kind of odd there, isn't it?
Poor kid. He's absolutely terrified of something.
Whatever it is, it might be the root cause of his out-of-control emotions. Probably the blood on the face, I'd wager.
That's exactly what I was gonna say myself.
I'd better take another careful look at the images.
I can't imagine why that would be there. No one was knifed. Blood.
Blood make him scared.
If I saw someone with blood smeared all over their face, I'd probably be scared too.
Yeah, blood was dripping down onto Shisho's face. Down onto it.
What's up there?
Blood? I don't remember seeing any blood in the crime scene photos.
Was it just like the stock from the soba?
Maybe. Yeah, I think that might have been it. Besides, if the victim was standing upright, how could blood drip down onto his face?
As I expected, all we managed to obtain from this child is a tale he dreamt of.
You shut up, you sod dummy! I guess it's a little weird for blood to drip onto the victim's face if he was standing up. Unless it dripped down from the ceiling or something. What do you think, Simon?
I think there was an evil mutant spider on the ceiling, and he killed it with a soba knife. And its ichor then... I have no idea! Owen's one confused and upset kid right now, so who knows how accurate his memory is. Maybe it's time for that thing instead.
Huh? What thing?
That thing that you and your cohorts do.
Oh, you mean that turning my thinking around thing? How do you know about it? That's completely internal.
Well, you sit there for like 4 minutes with a determined look on your face. What do you call it? Rotate your thinking about or some such?
Oh, you mean turn your thinking around.
Rotate your brain
What?
bam. I tried to say something involving boo bam bagbone.
Uh-huh.
But it kind of got away from me there and turned into boat mab.
Boat mab.
Yes, well, whatever. Boat mab or something. It's the same thing either way.
No, it isn't. Who's ever heard of rotating your thinking? I mean, rotate is... Hey, wait a minute.
I'm with you on this one, Athena. What?
You know what, Simon? In this case, I think rotate just might work perfectly after all.
Come again?
All I have to do is rotate things by 90 degrees.
Oh, that makes sense.
When he saw his master, Owen must have been lying on the floor.
That would actually make it work.
Owen must have been lying on the floor when he witnessed his master's murder.
Except for the mutant spider ichor, but...
There was no mutant spider ichor.
Yes, there was!
What? Mutant spiders?
No, Judge! That's the conclusion I arrived at when I rotated my thinking by 90 degrees.
That sounds a lot less cool when I say it out loud.
Kaiten Suru as opposed to Gyakten Suru.
Which means that all the visuals in my matrix were off by 90 degrees.
And? What does that mean?
This means Master Tornado was also lying on the floor, which solves another mystery.
And which mystery is that?
He was already dead. Why was he standing up?
The mystery of how blood could have been dripping onto the victim's face. It becomes much easier to imagine how that could happen if he was lying down.
Where'd the blood come from? That can't be blood!
Like someone bleeding onto Master Tornado from somewhere up above him. I remember now. Somebody was sitting up on top of Shisho. It was a clown with big boobs. So trying to recall his master's bloody killer is what spooked Owen originally. The blood that stained the victim's face red came from the person sitting on top of him. The victim was holding a knife, so he likely nicked his attacker as he was fighting back, even though the knife had absolutely no trace of blood on it.
This means his assailant was injured on their face somewhere, like the forehead.
Oh
perhaps.
no! Bucky has a bandage on his eyebrow!
Lock Bucky up!
Assuming the victim and his attacker were face to face, then yes.
I see. So, that is what happened. But, if I recall correctly, the accused has a fresh bandage on his forehead. Does he not? Uh-huh.
Yep, it's right there. Hello, cameraman.
That injury of Mr. Wet's is conclusive evidence that he committed this murder.
But what about all the other evidence?
The evidence that who committed the murder?
Why?
Wendo didn't do it.
Well, Bucky can't frame Owen. I suppose we haven't brought that up yet.
It seems you have dug yourself into a pit you cannot crawl out of.
No, not again. Even though I figured out the reason for Owen's out-of-control emotions, all I did was raise further suspicion against my own client.
Maybe he's guilty.
What do I do now?
Just keep going.
Exactly, that's all you do. What's the matter? You aren't thinking of throwing in the towel, are you?
But it looks so bad for Bucky. I mean, he had both motive and opportunity. Plus, he has that injury on his forehead. Hold on.
Your Honor, I sense that the defense is finally ready to let it go and move on.
You expect me to believe that
To think, say, believe, say.
Whatever.
You expect me to believe that much blood came from a tiny cut on his forehead?
I suppose it's possible, but I mean, it's pretty... kind of crazy, yeah?
Well, Miss Sykes?
But haven't you ever had, like, random injuries that bled a whole lot?
Yeah, I guess so, but...
I mean, I remember this one time I had, like, this little tiny, like, scab on my hand, and I reached down to scratch it, and I accidentally knocked off the little tiny scab, and I mean, there was blood everywhere.
Okay, answer me this.
No, this is an irrelevant
point. If he
point.
left the room with that much blood, someone would have noticed!
Bucky did it.
I understand that you don't want to give up on your client, though Daymon does. But I won't allow you to prolong this trial without a good reason.
No, you're right, but it's just that Bucky did it.
No.
That lawyer did her best, but all the signs point to the defendant's
we should also send the actual killer to jail, but Bucky still did it. That's just the point I want to make.
I really, really don't want to back down, but...
Silence. Thank you.
Athena, are you having doubts about Bucky's innocence?
I wouldn't say that, it's just...
Do you remember what you said to Bucky earlier this morning?
You mean, you believe me, ma'am? Of course, no matter what, I'll believe in you to the very end.
Were those just empty words?
Of course not! It's just that all the cards are stacked against us, Karuta or otherwise.
Are you still stuck on that line of thinking?
Oh!
Motive, opportunity, and an injury to his forehead. Is that all it takes to make you stop believing in your client? Tell me again, who are you to Bucky?
I'm his Ms. Chickadee lawyer.
Then do your duty and believe in him until the very end.
I will. Simon's absolutely right. I'm Bucky's lawyer, and he's depending on me.
Defense team, please. No fighting in my courtroom. Unless it's the opposing prosecutor.
Again, Simon's just taking all the good parts.
Yeah, the defense is ready to resume, Your Honor. Prosecutor Blackquill was just giving me a pep talk, that's all. Thank you, Prosecutor.
I didn't do it for your sake. I did it for the future of Wet Sober.
Yes.
And my stomach.
Yeah, I got it, you frickin' soon. The defense would like to now continue with Owen's therapy session.
Owen, would you be all right with that?
Oh, okay. Somebody was sitting up on top of Shisho, bleeding from their head. And smooshing something into Shisho's face. It was a balloon. That's funny, and I mean like honk honk clown funny.
What is it?
I still hear discord in Owen's voice, but I don't sense any inconsistencies between his statements and his emotions. And there don't seem to be any contradictions in his testimony itself either.
Well, the thing about Owen is, like, he acts as though he is a 5-year-old kid, and how often has he been out? If he has his own memories that are separate, there can't be that many of them. Ah, so that's it, huh?
Did you figure something out? Please tell me, I'm useless.
Your ability to sense emotions is making you focus too much on his feelings, Athena. But there's actually something he's being very vague about in his testimony. If you can clarify what he's feeling uncertain about with some evidence, you should be able to move forward from there.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll give it a try. I'll just update the mood matrix with the new information, and then we'll be ready to go. So I just need to present some evidence on what Owen is being vague about, huh?
Rotated 90 degrees, all right.
Oh, yeah. Shisho had blood on his face and a knife in his hand. He was on the floor, and somebody was smooshing something into his face.
1, 2, 3, bah-wow.
I couldn't move at all. I was so scared. I passed out.
Well, we can't disprove that he passed out.
So it must be... So now, let's see what Owen is feeling uncertain about. It should manifest as something Owen isn't being specific about.
Yeah, I mean, one of those things, whatever it could possibly be. What's the matter? Is this exceedingly simple thing too tough for you, or are you just fishing for more dialogue?
Well, you know how I am. No, I'm thinking. Stop distracting me. I think I can guess what Owen is uncertain about.
It's the thing that's vague and inconsistent visually.
I just don't know which piece of evidence will pull the info I need to the surface.
That is a good point, actually. You can't solve this with a rigid thought process. Try kneading your mind as well.
Kneading my mind? It's not soba dough, you know.
Are you sure about that? Do you have any proof? Looks like you've learned a thing or two about making soba, at least.
You think? I've only been hearing about it all day today.
Well, even with that tiny bit of knowledge, you ought to be able to find your answer.
That's Simon. He's figured something out again, hasn't he? What does the soba-making process have to do with what Owen is unsure about?
With kneading soba dough on his face, huh?
Okay.
Well, it's better than popping a balloon on his face.
Darn, I really liked my balloon idea.
Yeah, you knew that wasn't gonna be it.
Okay, so the only thing that shows soba is this.
No, that means it won't be that.
Of course not. So this time...
The only thing that shows anything with soba is the crime scene report. And we only have a tiny bit of evidence.
That's true. Let's put a name to the thing Owen's uncertain of, shall we? By identifying the murder weapon that was used to suffocate the victim. Fortunately for us, I spy the murder weapon right here in this crime scene photo.
Unfortunately for you, I spy nothing of the sort. And the police did not spy anything of the sort during their investigation either. Pray tell, where is this murder weapon you see?
You don't see it because it no longer looks the way it did when it was used as a weapon. This is what the killer pressed into Master Tornado's face. The noodles!
The noodles, huh?
Yeah, like you said, the soba dough.
Well, what I was saying was dough, really, so they would have had to have made it into noodles, and then put the noodles in the bowl, and then pushed his face into it. Which kind of further implicates Bucky, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The mystery person that Owen saw pressed soba into the victim's face, thereby suffocating him.
I grow weary of your tasteless and stupid jokes. How could anyone commit murder with soft, delicate soba? The noodles would instantly fall apart if they were pressed into someone's face, and if they were pressed into your mouth, you could just eat them.
Yes, I agree.
Well, I disagree. There is a way the soba could have been used to suffocate the victim.
What? You will explain your theory at once, Miss Sykes.
If this is true, this is a bizarre murder weapon, isn't it?
To kill Master Tornado, the culprit must have smothered him with uncooked soba noodles.
No, uncut soba dough.
Uncut soba dough. Balled up soba noodles?
Boo Bam Meat Bag.
Stop talking about my booze. The culprit must have used the soba before it was cut into noodles. In other words, the murder weapon was raw soba dough. Oh no. What? And then after he killed him, he cut it into soba and
I mean, everything was there.
Order in the court. Yes, soba dough could definitely be used to suffocate someone, couldn't it? Not a balloon.
Soba dough, you say? So you're saying... So what you're saying is someone cooked soba in this room.
Are you all right, Prosecutor Sadbody? I ask, as the Bittersweet gamers already know what you're going to say.
I was just letting the soul of the victim know that the accused will finally face justice, thanks to the foolish lawyer before me.
Huh? What are you talking about?
Allow me to, I shall say, summarize your statements.
Can you not?
As the accused was killing the victim, he was slashed in the face by the victim's knife. The weapon he used to suffocate the victim with was the dough in the dressing room. He then disposed of the murder weapon by cutting the soba dough into noodles. Why, you smarmy smug! Afterwards, the accused put the victim's face into the bowl of soba noodles and broth that he himself had prepared to wash off the blood that had dripped onto the victim's face from his own. And there you have it, the true sequence of events behind this foul affair.
Now wait just a minute! I never once said that Mr. Wet was the culprit.
Your Majesty, the verdict, if you will. Who but the accused knows how to cut dough into noodles, defense? It's true, the victim does as well, but that presents its own problem.
That's a very good point, Prosecutor Sadbody. I heard that cutting soba dough into uniform noodles requires considerable training. But then, what about the dying message? How do you explain that? The defendant wouldn't have known about Wendo's Owen personality. I was paying attention, see?
Perhaps the victim was simply playing with a card.
Oh my God!
No other meaning.
Oh my God!
Well,
are you serious?
Well, there were only 7 cards. The chance isn't impossible. I don't know, I don't believe that, but... Perhaps he spelled out Owen's name in jest sometime before his murder.
That's true. From Owen's testimony, it's clear that Master Tornado cared for the boy. It appears we've arrived at a compelling conclusion.
Oh, how convenient!